Greetings. We're here along the Illinois River Trail in the Kalmiopsis Wilderness in southwestern Oregon, and some incredibly rugged, rocky country out here. This huge river canyon. It's a blustery, chilly day, but out of the wind and the sun, it's quite warm, which is odd because there have been no ants here. And that is lovely. I've got this massive burst of chilly air and high winds coming out of the Arctic here in early October. And I would consider this to be after the ants. They are going away to get away from this chilly weather. It's going to be in the 20s tonight. And that means we have this whole area all to ourselves. Nobody wants to be out here on a weekday in cold weather and high winds. But we're willing to take the chance because you just don't get to enjoy something like this all to yourself sometimes, especially a place this popular. We're very close to the town of Cave Junction. Super popular tourist spot. It's right on the way down to the Redwoods in Northern California, so anybody from the Rogue Valley is going to be possibly stopping off through here and looking to this for their adventure time. We don't have a problem with that, but you know, we're usually looking for some solo time to get away from it all, to get away from civilization. We're certainly not out here to bring civilization with us or see or experience things of civilization. You know, we kind of shake our heads when we see people bringing all the amenities and all the comforts. Like, well, why did you leave the house in the first place? You gotta get out there and rough it and really experience the cold and the hot and the sharp and the pointy and the soft and the wet and the dry. And this trail apparently takes you quite some ways. The river eventually drains into the Rogue River, so it's one of the tributaries of the Rogue. But it is a really good river in its own right. It's awfully low to try and float, but I presume when it runs higher, it might be quite floatable. But as you can see, you'd be portaging and dragging your boat quite a bit. But that said, it's generally a warm river because it flows from inland here, and it's very swimmable in the summer. Lovely place. There's a lot of interesting geology here, and so you see all these, looks like trails. Only one of these is a trail, the other one is a road, and there are old road cuts for mines all over this country. Nobody knows about any of our wild places because they wandered out and went, oh, we should preserve that. They were looking for minerals, they were looking for resources, timber, anything they could exploit to make their fortune when they came out west back in the 1800s or before. Trappers, you know, people were out here looking for anything they could find, and so they were prospecting the heck out of, from peak top to river bottom, looking for especially gold, but things like platinum, copper, chromium. And so that's probably an old mine cut going up into this really rocky exposed canyon here off to the side along that creek. And that's probably what they were looking for is, you know, when nature erodes the hillside for you, it does the excavation. It kind of saves you a lot of trouble as a miner. It's one of the reasons a lot of people like the placer mining, because you basically just dig up the soil and wash it away. But as such, it has decimated so many river valleys, as you've seen from Northern California on up into Oregon, even out the town of Sumter. There's a very good example where you can see miles and miles of dredge tailings where the landscape was permanently altered. It will take thousands of years for that to look sort of quote-unquote normal or natural again, but if you didn't know that something had happened there, you probably wouldn't know. I mean, this could have been a huge road at one time, but now it's just a cool little trail that we get to enjoy ourselves on. And with the cold weather, there's not a single ant that we have seen the whole time. And so, what a bonus. Warm weather in the sun, no one out here, and the trail all to ourselves, and not an ant to be found. You can just sit down and enjoy yourself and not worry about ants in the picnic. Wow, this country is amazingly rugged. If you were trying to go off trail, you'd probably regret every step, even in boots, and us in our little sandals would be pretty unhappy. We could do it, but we'd prefer not to. Wow, this place is really amazing. Just another one of those amazing little hidden gems out in Oregon somewhere. I think it's time for us to get down the trail and on to the next gem. I want to thank you very much for joining us here in the Kalmiopsis Wilderness along the Illinois River in southwestern Oregon to enjoy these amazing blue, clear, wonderful skies, Lovely weather. Really amazing landscapes. Fascinating geology. Lovely little wilderness. And no ants.